Hello to all. I am Mar Introini, Global Chair of G100 Global Networking and founder and political analyst of the blog, thesustainabilityreader.com. Today, I have at a new milestone in what is G100 Global Networking. That is the second edition of our magazine, We Men Evolution, G100 Global Networking 2025. And lots is coming because this year, at the end of the year, in December, we are going to have another edition. This is something that makes us, all of us, very proud because it's another outcome, another way to connect, another way for networking, to give visibility, to empower ourselves. And maybe we say we empower women that are empowered. At these different levels of empowerment. There are emotional levels. There are many challenges that force us to be together because we cannot make it alone. So that's why I am so grateful today to have one of our guests of honor, author, contributors to our magazine. And with her will be this beautiful picture of women that are taking their time, voluntary, to be with us, to taking their time to learn. They're wanting to learn. They don't think that it's just about AI, transhumanism agenda as we are having. They still believe in what is human. They still believe what is feeling and the beauty of what is to be 2 hours together asking question. And what we are doing, asking question to someone, an innovator, a leader, a compassionate leader, I always highlight that this aspect is so important because we know that we are going to learn from her. And that is the flow of this meeting, to be together and to learn from each other. This is not just word. We are going to take it on the practice in a very flexible flow, but with a structure. And a structure, we are going to ask questions. Some of them you could have it in our magazine. That is the interview that we have done to our as I say, our guest of honor. And you will find questions, very important questions, very relevant questions for the next decades, because we are asking questions for the next decades. We are putting in practice what is critical thinking at its best. So, and that person, that guest of honor, that woman that always is inviting us to cross-pollinate. I love to repeat what she say, because it's like we are bees. We are bees all together working. Very small work we can do, very small contribution, but then there is the honey. The honey is our outcome to be together. The sweetness and the powerful of the work done by all of us. This woman is Dr.Violeta Bulc. You know her, she is founder, curator of Ecocivilisation movement, a movement that is challenging what the current status quo, what means in technology, in artificial intelligence, what is the next war, as always. Violeta repeat that is the water. The water will be the source, the diamond for the next decades. And she's an innovator. She's a leader. She's former deputy prime minister from Slovenia and commissioner for the European Commission. So a woman who had the experience in practice for what is the European institution, what is a global institution. She could lead a local and global vision. So for her vision, for her compassion, and her immense generosity to be together, we welcome you, Violeta. Absolute gratitude and excitement, because it's always a pleasure to be with you. Thank you so much for putting in practice your values as a leader, not just writing books.
Thank you very much, Mar. Thank you for this really big introduction. Let me say that right now in my journey, I'm just a traveler through time and space, trying to really capture the essence of what is emerging today, what is emerging from the space we share. And that's why I feel very humbled to come and join you for your really great questions that you were willing to share with me. And I hope that we jointly will explore them and really enrich these 2 hours of the conversation. And once we say goodbye, we feel that it was worth it. So I'm inviting you, let's co-create that space together. Thank you.
Thank you, Violeta. Ecocivilisation, your movement creates expectation about what is, what they wanted, what they could achieve, no? Or it's just another initiative, no? So what it marks the difference. And I think our advisor from India, Padma Priya, have going deep on that, reflecting on that. So Padma, maybe the floor is yours.
Yeah, good evening, Marin Troini, and distinguished ladies present here, and Her Excellency, Dr. Violeta. I'm Padma Priya from India. Thank you, Mar, for your introduction. Ma'am, could you please throw some light on how can eco-civilization movement challenge powerful interests that profit from ecological degradation while still remaining politically relevant and globally credible? And also, could you please tell me that how eco-civilization is going to impact global discourse? Thank you.
Well, dear Madam Padma, this is a really big question, but let me try to share the way how I feel it right now. I want to send a very clear message that we are not in a mission to challenge anyone. We are in a mission to bring together people who care, and jointly we search for possible paths forward. There are many paths that lead to eco-civilization. So our way of doing it, those people who care and are gathering together now around Ecocivilisation, G100, Living Cities Earth, 8-1, and many other similar partnership organizations, is that we're trying our best to do whatever we can by bringing together first people who care, even outside our circles, to be able to challenge by our thoughts, by our understandings of what is emerging right now. Then by observing really this emergence on our own as well, and try to recognize what needs to be done in a search for a state of coherence. Personally, I'm so inspired by the way how nature, the planet, the cosmos is keeping everything in balance. Have you ever thought why the planets are constantly moving the way they're moving? How come that no matter how invasive a certain species are, somehow nature is balancing them out, that they don't overtake and just become one species in this world? Those are the questions that personally really engage me. And I'm trying to see how we as a humanity could come closer to that, and encourage everybody who I talk to and I hold space for discussions with to try to see that too. And I wonder, what do you think about that? We also very clearly, and Mar mentioned that, try to connect, cross-pollinate, hold safe spaces. But maybe above all, we try to do what it feels right and learn together to shift from what we think we should do to what we feel that we should do. And it's such a colossal different world. So I hope to get some response from that and that too. And while doing that, we are tapping into, let's call it universal consciousness, and try to understand and seek the acts of coherence, to be in tune with everything we are part of and it's around of us, instead of just trying to control everything it's around us, just trying to control whatever we're part of, and always trying to be at the top, just to learn, right, that time to time that nature, wow, has so much more power than we ever imagined. And maybe, just maybe, we should be working with it instead of working against it. And interesting enough, more we dive into this way of into this type of relationship with the world, more it seems, or let's say, more I feel that competition models somehow are taking a lot of strength away from us and pushing us into something that might not even matter for the long-term sustainability and long-term resilience, not only of humanity, of the world itself. So what I'm trying to say here is that Ecocivilisation is trying to, in a way, or try to understand which are other ways of relating to the world, to another human being, to ourselves, to be able to get a bit more sustainable and better results, honored or life, let's say, life-affirming results out of our actions. So if I would describe, let's say, Ecocivilisation way of doing, I would say connect, resonate, seek for coherence, seek for emergence, innovate, and manifest whatever we feel in that space that can benefit our day-to-day life from, and go into another spiral circle. So renewal of a new spiral circles. You might feel that this is very intangible and it's all up in the space, because we're so used to focusing on goals, on achievements on a quarterly level, on very tangible results. But I'm inviting you, could you imagine that we step one step back and actually more focus on the spaces, the relationships, the values, the ethical frameworks from which potential tangible items develop from? Do you think that doing that step, we could hope to human better? I think it's one of the guiding principles that is very much present within Ecocivilisation movement. Just to confirm that, is that the more we are connected, the more we're free. Meaning, more connections we create, more diversity we can see and understand, our level of awareness is growing, our level of consciousness is growing. And all of a sudden, if I'm allowed to be really bold, we realize, that really wise people never agree, because they know the truths are many. So what we are invited to speak out of our field of truthfulness, and then jointly out of that created space, get new insights, new ways forward, new ideas. And once we start joining and build new ideas based on our little contributions, and when we all see our little traces of ourselves in those new emerging products, services, solutions, models, all of a sudden we feel part of it. I've been exercising that all the time while I was a commissioner, because I was really a new kid on the block in politics. So I wasn't really sure that I understand the way how politics should work, but I relied on participatory modeling. I relied on the engagement of people. And that's what I tried to bring to Ecocivilisation, because the results were so great. And there is one more thing which I want to share with you before I pass the word back to you. Emerging within eco-civilization movement, that it cannot be described just as a process. I would call it evolutionary field. In physics, I know a field does not force events, right? It changes the probabilities of what can emerge. And that's what I love. That's the essence of quantum physics as well. And likewise, an eco-civilization does not need to compel innovation. It cultivates the conditions in which wiser forms of innovation become more likely. So, what do you think about that?
Well, I always very interesting what you say, and but I apologize if I challenge you a little bit, because
Yeah, please.
because I agree with everything that you say, but at the same time, when I focus on what I'm hearing from the rest, you say we need to connect. There are positive outcomes. I have recently heard in a summit that they say networks are dead.
Networks haven't been even born yet.
Yeah. So networks are dead. So the world splits in two, the one who we live in connection and innovation and together we change, and the other that say no, this is not worth it. So when you say let's bring people to tell the truth, but maybe politically correctness is about not to tell the truth. And if the trend is that networks are dead and we need to be controlled, and maybe it would be better to have a robot, a humanoid robot instead of human contact. So it's really very interesting.
Oh my dear Mar, you're opening a Pandoric box
yeah.
So it's I'm gonna challenge you back. Who says that the current politics is the one that should survive? I mean, it's incapable of delivering solutions. And yes, you are right, the world is polarizing, right? But we have this very strong old establishment who wants control, who wants hierarchy, who wants really very singularity, and also a single point of decision making. Who on earth are these people that declare themselves above everybody else? I mean, I have seen and met and dined with presidents of the world, and only few I would do it again with. Okay. They are not developed personalities. They're not people who I would like to trust. So there is something that we are invited to challenge in that sense in this open space, because especially in the way how politics works, politicians, elected politicians have no obligation to report back to those that they were elected from, and this is a weak implementation of democracy. And now everybody's trying to say, democracy failed, democracy doesn't work. We haven't even implemented it yet, and we are already dismissing it, because it requires a holistic development of humankind. And of course, physical and intellectual, it's really easy to control. And those that want a singular control, they want us to evolve only as intellectual and physical beings. And as those, we are now challenged by technology. And of course, we can never beat technology in physical capacities and in processing capacities of data. The only way that humanity can actually evolve is that we start evolving our emotional, social, or spiritual dimensions, because that's the quality of humanity. And for physical challenging physical work, yes, let's use technology for processing data and learning what it was in the past. What are the patterns of the past? Yes, let's use the technology. But God forbid, to use the technology to predict the future, because technology has no information to predict the future, because it's operating exclusively only with the old data. So, okay, I rest my case.
all the rest, please feel free to jump in. Just a very small comment, and I pass the word to the one, maybe Belinda, that have a comment about this. Albania appointed an AI minister. She doesn't exist. Diela, no, that is the reason that the best argumentation that the whole is that there going to be transparency, because we lost hope on humanity, so we just need we have to go to robots. If not, we cannot trust that there will be transparency. So it's really very serious. Belinda, Ava Grace, maybe Camilla, that is in politics, and also, yes, you have Camilla. Yes, you wanted to jump in? Okay.
Yes,
Yeah, I
cannot-
was carefully listening Her Excellency Violeta Bulc, and I would like to take some of your idea for my future in politics, because I love them so much. And as well, my question I prepare for you today, it's related with this area, like what you were saying about the conscience, and about people which are wise, and so. And for that, in the past, when you was nominated as the European Commissioner in 2014, some people attack you, let's say, with some public criticism, that you have interest for spirituality and these things you are speaking today. And these critics argue that they belong to the private sphere, and is not the place for politics. And then it's not a place for a person which need to do like decisions and influence political decision making. Then my question was, because me, let's say, before to be a politician, I was a human being with my pleasure, with my hobbies, right? So it's like now if we enter in politics, we need to change our hobbies, let's say like that, just because we need to align to the whatever it means politician for some people. Then I would like to ask you, can spirituality do somebody a better leader? And how you could balance this part of the spirituality with the politics? And as well, after, as let's say, like a joke, the other day we was having like a Zoom like this with the people from my party, and we proposed one meeting face to face in September in the Parliament of Romania. And one of our colleagues, because we was looking for the dates, she said, look, if you want to do the meeting, the best day in September is 25th of September. Then everybody was looking to her, and she said, because it's the full moon and the moon is in the rising, so let's don't do the meeting when the moon is going back. And now Mercurius is retrogradus, and so, and why not? Why to not take into account these things if we want to do the better things for people? It's my idea, but I would like to know how you did it, and and what you think about combining this to different sides of yourself and of your personality. Thank you very much.
That's a great question, Camilla. Thank you for that.
Indeed, it's a great question, and it brings memories back. What an experience that was. But first of all, I mean, just a side comment about the moon cycles. You know, we are mostly water, and we are mostly salty water, our bodies. And we know that salty water, oceans, that water reacts to the moon, right? So I don't understand why we doubt that yes, of course, we are very much under the influence of the moon cycles, and um, old cultures put much more attention to the moon cycles than to the sun cycles because of this impact on human body that the moon has. But that's just part of a bigger story. I think we are live in a period where we're going to start integrating cross civilizational knowledge and understandings of who we are, what we are, how we relate to everything that's around us, and how do we relate to ourselves. I think this push towards industrial civilization, which was led by Western nations, pushed forward technology, knowledge, and individual view. But we know now that this is just yet another aspect of life. So in order to be able to understand the systemic challenges that are happening, we are invited to start integrating these different views, and not to go into too much details, but it's worth following or having a stand about the latest message that comes from China, where they entered the process of transition from industrial revolution towards ecological revolution. So they're already talking about the new paradigm, the new shift on the governmental level, on the presidential level. It's been brewing in Europe for a long time, but no politician was able to stand up and just declare it. We had Green Agenda, but all of a sudden Green Agenda lost all the power, as you could see, just due to some challenges that are right now on a global level caused by repositioning of global powers. So how can we bring back and say, look, we are dedicated to ecological civilization, and no, we do not want transhumanism to be in place. And no, we do not want to fail like most of the previous civilizations. They failed, no matter how powerful they were. Do we ever think about that? So why I'm saying that? Because your question, Camelia, is very much related to exactly how do we see ourselves in this whole network of energies and events and beings and conditions that are currently present on planet Earth. So I'd like to just restate what I kind of indicated already in my previous statement, that I see us humans as multi-layered, multidimensional beings. I've always seen myself that way, even when I was a kid. So I see it as a physical, which is our body, emotional, right, which is our heart, intellectual, which is our mind, social, which is our relationships, and spiritual, which is our connection to the collective awareness and collective consciousness. And I dare to say that the challenges we face today in society are equally multidimensional. They cannot be understood or solved through only a single lens. They require this holistic view, system-based understanding of both the problem and the context in which it emerges, because we so often pull the problem away from the context. And then we apply some sort of solutions that are very short term, with causing even more trouble in the future, many times, like with different industrial development. I often say to my students, I say, imagine then at the beginning of last century when they were designing specifications for automotive industry, talking about technical specs and safety features and all that. And among them, imagine that at that time somebody would write, and they should not pollute. Are you with me? Today, we would not be dealing with the colossal challenges that we're dealing if only one additional thought was put into the specs. So I'm very much on this holistic side. So that's why for me, this is spirituality is part of this integrated context and being. And I cannot imagine dealing with challenges without that. I mean, today you see that modern industrial society is driven by efficiency, profit maximization, short-term gains. Actually, every 3 months now they're measuring the success. How can you imagine that you could deliver holistic, sustainable, long-term solutions when you're driven by such a matrix? And that's what is now sort of inviting us all to reduce the human being into a very simplified model. As I said, at the beginning, it was a physical worker. Later on, they added a bit of rationality, right? Because we needed some knowledge to do the system constant improvements. Then very measurable decision-making. And in this logic, only what can be qualified is considered valid. But you know that that actually is really not important when you're really making good decisions. Emotional, relational, inner dimensions of human experience have such an incredible value in decision making. But they got marginalized because they were seen as difficult to measure, less manageable within systems of control and prediction and authority. But life is not like that. Look around the nature. Life is not like that. In this VUCA world, as we often see it being referred to, volatile, and ambiguous, chaotic, uncertain, these purely analytical approaches just cannot deliver. So I don't know how much you know about my background. Mark shared a little bit, but my profession is I'm computer engineer, electrical engineer. And then I really dived into telecommunications and to different international and domestic managerial work. And then I had my own company for 14 years. And I helped corporations to develop breakthrough strategic ideas. And the first thing I took away is competition model. And we put them into the position to declare their competences and seek customers that they really value their competences. And then I help them to start developing processes that delivered value for their clients. And forget about competition can be often wrong. And if they push you to follow them, then you lose yourself. And that is, again, it's this multidimensional world that you need for that. If you want to nurture relationships, which are the essence of every quality life, or let's say the essence of the long-term understandings of the world, you need emotional stability, spiritual clearance, you need social awareness, you need clear mind, which is directed by heart, and you need, of course, physical body that can sustain all that dynamic of all other dimensions. So was it hard? No, it wasn't hard at all to use that in a position as a commissioner. And did it help me? Enormously. Of course, being nominated from a small country, understanding also that this is one of the most desirable positions the politician can have in Slovenia. For very wrong reasons, people consider that as the best job, as you can imagine, along with those characteristics of the old world. They attacked what they considered my weaknesses, which was shamanism. Because while I was developing my dimensions, all these 5 dimensions of myself, I could not find the proper tools within the classical educational system. So first, what I did, I entered the Academy of Martial Art. I passed the black belt in Taekwondo and Hapkido, and I learned so much about myself, about the energies, about capacity humanity has. When all of a sudden, instead of kicking, you're jumping, you're flying. That is true. You do fly, but you gotta experience that to really internally say, wow, aha, unbelievable what people can do. So, but that was not enough, because I knew that besides this internal capacity to manage energy, there is also something that is related to our genetic memory, our past, and also to the geographic locations where we grew up with. And how do I learn to tap into this kind of intrinsic knowledge? That's when I entered Shamanic Academy and I passed it. And I'm very proud of that. I'm not a shaman, because shamans are called for by the higher energies. I'm just a practitioner that I use some techniques to keep myself in line, especially when I'm under a lot of stress, when unpredictable events happen, and I try to bring myself in, sort of calibrate myself again back to the center. And I love it. And I used a lot of techniques with my former clients while I was a consultant, and the miracles were happening. People were breaking through emotional traumas that they didn't even know they have them. And they were big obstacles in their decision-making, in their relationship with their coworkers, with clients, with investors. And all of a sudden, that was gone. They realized the capacity of collective thinking when each individual takes responsibility to speak from their field of truthfulness. And all of a sudden, the problem disappeared and the solution started to emerge of the collective field of shared experiences. So that's my story. I cannot tell you what to do. So spirituality for me is just part of, those 5 elements of human capacity. And I still think that, or feel, it's a better expression. I feel that once we awaken those dimensions, you just cannot do bad things. You can be wrong. Of course, you can still do stupid things, but with good intention to change, improve, and you're not afraid to say, sorry, I blew it. Let's retrack a few steps. Let's do it again. I'm sorry, I was wrong. That that is possible because you were not in tune well enough with the field of emergence. So you go back and you try to clear those, blockages that you have in you, and try again. So how can you do that without spiritual dimension? And I don't really mind which tool you use to awaken that. It could be religion, but be aware that you're not manipulated. It could be your own, which I do. I have my own spiritual relationship with the world. You can follow Buddhism. You can follow some other natural ways that you recognize that they work for you. And that's all it matters. That they bring balance, coherence, and clear capacity to engage with others. And yes, Mar, I think networks are the future. because only through the networks we can achieve these fields of emergence, and we can develop this interconnectedness in a spirit of coherence. No hierarchy can deliver that.
Mhm. For sure. And also there is a matter of a bad consistent from the political sector, because if we need robots because we don't need emotions, we don't need spirituality. So if we don't need that, and they cannot be in the political agenda, and politicians shouldn't have that part as you have. And that was maybe, I don't know if some of you have read about it, but the question from Camila is because Violeta Bulc was criticized because of, they say, esoteric.
Yeah, but Mar, let me encourage you all, Mar. I was criticized of this badly at home, really badly. It was, that really negative. And when I came to Brussels, the first article had me with 6 or 7 hats dancing this voodoo dance, whatever. But that was it. After I passed the hearing in the European Parliament and got ovations at the end, standing ovations, nobody ever mentioned this again in Brussels. Ever again. So just be clear how you stand. I mean, we need to speak from our field of truthfulness and be willing to learn, be willing to go forward, but let not be afraid who we are.
No, that's that. Belinda, you please jump in. Transparency. Don't be afraid of who you are, and doesn't matter the position you have politically. You were not politically correct. That was the point. But you were transparent.
Yes.
Transparent. That's your power. That's why we are here. Belinda, please.
Yes, I just want to jump in with a follow-up question. This is not really my question. I'll come back later. But as Her Excellency was talking about how politics is a hindrance to the human truth, and even Camelia also just emphasized on that, I feel it is very, very crucial in this part of the world that I come from, that is Africa, because the statement, I'm being politically correct, whether it is a state or, it is, I can't even call it a value, but being politically correct is a hindrance to human progress in so many ways. I don't know how true or false that statement is, but I believe that many people who are deemed good, whenever they get into the political space, they just start dancing to the tune of the person who is in power. When you mentioned that we stopped the green agenda because we wanted to align ourselves with the political powers or the global powers, I believe that the planet or the earth was in a way retrogressed. And I don't know how we can, in our own way, to continue with this green agenda or some of the things that can help human beings to progress. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your comment, Belinda. I'd like to just reinforce what you shared with this political correctness has supported the people who seek power and control. While I'm saying that, I would invite you be always humble. This is such a profound energy to work with as a politician. Stay humble. I deleted from the vocabulary while I was a commissioner, we have to. We're inviting people to join us in. Invite people. Don't tell them what to do, because, feel how you feel when somebody tells you have to do this. Really? Based on what? So how do you feel if I say, Belinda, I'm inviting you to join me And what's your opinion on that? How do
I
you
feel
feel?
good. I feel good, and I would lovely participate because it's an invitation.
Exactly, exactly. And that was one of my little secrets. And use participatory modeling. Listen to people. If you want to go in politics, do not shy away from people. Yes, it's difficult. They suck a lot of energy out of you. That's why you need techniques with which you rejuvenate your own energy. But work with people. Write down their ideas. See the overlapping messages that bring these ideas together. And never forget to acknowledge the participation and the content that was provided by those that work with you. You don't need to name them, but it's good to refer to a specific event. It's good to refer to specific reports that were done by people and prize them if you use them. So you see, people I've learned throughout and a lot on myself as well. People really, we all value, and please correct me, two things: being acknowledged and being seen. If you want to kill the participation, just ignore and do not acknowledge people, and you will kill that immediately. But if you do acknowledge people, if you do show that you care in the sense of being able to recognize their contribution and prize the work that they contributed, wow, I mean, miracles happen. You know, we passed 63 regulatory interventions. If we did 10, I would have a successful mandate. But they happen because all of a sudden the entire European transport ecosystem, which was engaged, invited, included, named, they were doing an amazing job, because an idea on a political high level means nothing if it's not delivered and implemented on the ground level. And that's where you need people, that they do implement your ideas on a ground level.
Delivering ideas, green policies, spirituality, overcoming challenge, need people. And for that, I'm thinking on André the Reader. André the Reader from Brazil. And I think I am right, isn't it? You resonate with you.
Yes. Thanks, Mar. It's an honor to be with Ms. Bulc and now this woman powered and spiritually inspiration. I am André Vieira Bulc, member of OBME and GSEM, but the current president of the Super Eco Institute in Brazil. And for 33 years, the Institute has been developing projects to transform communities, focusing in entrepreneurship, social leadership, sustainability, and collaborative networks by leveraging local talent, especially from socially vulnerable territories in Brazil. And Brazil is very powerful in technology, innovation, and nature, but we still have many people in Brazil without adequate literacy skills. So today, for me, artificial intelligence is growing. It's a great aid in accelerating process and systematizing knowledge. Maybe empower people or not yet, but I am troubled by the risk it poses or diminishing our connection to the natural world and to one another as women learning from each other through local wisdom. Since many values for me have been lost now. So the question is, how can we face this harmoniology, preserve the power of our sensing? Because I am very spiritual woman and very connected to the natural world to learn to learn about the nature, to learn, to observe how the things can be better for a better world, not we are the better. So it's intuitive for me. And I think it's very important to connect intelligent artifact with the power of essence human. You can understand. Sorry, my English is not so good, but I try
perfect,
to be able to understand. Yes,
perfect.
Thank you.
Correct me if I miss some of your questions, but first I'd like to just state very clearly, AI and all advanced technology is. It's not good, it's not bad, it just is. So it gets the emotional connotation when it's used by people. Right now, my feeling is that capacity of technology precedes the human capacity to absorb. And I invite you all to put some thoughts into it. The capacity of technology precedes the capacity of humanity to absorb it. Meaning all the pluses and minuses, to understand the scope the technology can address. How do you raise the kids to be able to grow into this balanced human? Because it's worth emphasizing, too much spirituality, it's not good. Too much emotions, it's not good. Too much intellect, it's not good. Just to price physical body, it's not good. We are invited to balance this, to bring in coherence. And that's, I think, it's a bigger challenge than even acknowledge that we have these 5 dimensions. So in a sense of the young generations, what is emerging right now also within Ecocivilisation is that we have this invitation to find a way to develop balanced human beings. Because what I realized as well on myself when I'm trying to do that with myself, I'm not there yet, of course not, but I'm in a journey, I'm not learning, is that once you do that, as I said before, it's this magical stream. The way how ideas get generated is that you all the time think about society, the planet, of course, about yourself too, but you cannot do it just for yourself. That disappears somehow with reaching this state of coherence. And I do believe that there are new jobs now emerging, and one of them is coherence holders. I'm sure that that's going to be the job of the future. Like many other jobs who will be in between technology and human being or natural ecosystems. We will have a lot there. So I'm not afraid of technology taking away jobs from people, because I've seen, now I'm old enough to see a couple of technological shifts. I'm a kid of internet. You know, this is my thing, right? And at that time they said, oh, you know, millions of jobs will be lost because of the new ways of communication. I work in telecom, and of course the old line switching was gone overnight, and the packet switching came in with TCP protocols and internet. And I'm not even sure if you remember that 30 years ago there was no internet, right? But no, so many new jobs evolved. So many new opportunities were created. So technology, if in the right hands and with the balanced people who make decisions, can do so many great things for us. You know, the challenge I have is that right now, we as a collective, and especially those that are in power and are behind the technology, they don't want to pay any attention to this holistic development. And that, in that case, that is dangerous. And we gotta start telling kids that they understand, the youth. Because we still have this kind of awareness and we can still remember the old world and the level of control and the level of simplification of the society that these new tools are offering in the hands of control seekers is not a natural process. It's not. So what I would say is that we are responsible to watch for at least a couple of very important elements, which, you know, I feel that we're not talking enough about, especially women who understand the space holding and the community circles. We don't talk enough about the rapid expansion of digital money. You know, I don't know how much you think about it. I'm a big advocate of physical money to be also present. I'm not saying anything against digital money, but it should not prevail. Why? Because once you have only digital money, every purchase can be directed. You have no free purchase anymore. Everything can be directed. All your money can be boxed. All your value that you have created can be boxed. So that's another more discussion, important discussion. We got to raise it. We got to continue talking about it. The second one is the merger for universal digital identity system. It sounds so much fun. Oh, I can travel with the chip in my hand. I can go everywhere. Well, yeah, it's great, isn't it? The free world until somebody starts controlling that, you know, with different intentions. And that's where I say that technology precedes the human capacity to absorb. We do not have regulatory systems. We do not have systems in place to protect humanity. We're pushing technologies forward without being able to really protect humanity from the misuse of these technologies. And we haven't even seen anything yet, you know. And of course, both these are incredible tools for something even scarier, which is a large-scale digital surveillance systems. And in the wrong hands, this is really horrible. And yes, they will sell you, it's great to have surveillance systems everywhere because people will save. Nobody dares to steal, nobody dares to attack. You know what? Those crimes are really small crimes. The real big crimes are happening behind the scene. And yes, we have the criminals of physical criminals in the jail, but where are the criminals who completely destroy value that's been created by millions of people, even billions of people? They're unseen. And with a higher level of digitalization, without proper control and proper governance, not control, governance, we're going to become a lost civilization completely. We're going to go into transhumanism. You know, and
So
this is something. Yeah, no, go ahead.
Yeah, that's why we need human leadership, and
Yes.
and we are good women, and I think Eva Grace have a say on that, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Excellency Dr. Violeta, for the awesome sharing to all the ladies here tonight. Yeah, I'm sharing a bit of my background. I'm from one of the Malaysia Women Chamber of Commerce, which is leading a group of women and empower each other. I am very glad today you share with us on the life balance, you know, being humble to people, and the motivational is very important for those mommy and entrepreneur out there. You know, they need all these, you know, to support them to do in their businesses in a better way. So today, from entrepreneur prospect, I would like to ask my question is how can we empower more women to believe themselves more confidently, in terms of to the world, and how can they beyond networking to create a meaningful global opportunity for them? Thank you. That is my question.
Very important question as well. But that you can understand my reply, I need to build the context from which I will give you my answer. I grew up as a kid and finished all the basic schooling all the way to the university. So basically until I was 24, I lived in Yugoslavia, which Yugoslavia had a very progressive socialist system with a high level of equality for men and women, and not only in law, but what it was important that was delivered in action as well. That was one side. The other side is that I also grew up in a family where we all shared our jobs and responsibilities all the time. My parents, my siblings, with no gender differentiation. We didn't have men jobs and women jobs. So I grew up with a perspective that I'm a human being first. Are you with me?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a human being, and then I'm a woman. Okay. No, my partner joked about that a lot. So he said, no, for me, you're a woman. No. Okay. So I got to learn that, these roles can change. But joke aside.
Definitely.
So I understand your question, dear Ava Grace, maybe deeper, not about gender, let's put it this way, but about human potential and how it is developed and recognized. And we rarely, and ladies, please correct me, we rarely ask why men struggle with confidence and leadership context, right? Even though many do. But I've never heard anybody asking this question for men.
Yeah.
This, on my opinion, this already suggests that confidence and perceived readiness are shaped really by broader cultural expectations and not gender alone.
Okay.
So rather than separating people into categories of men and women, when we talk about leadership, it is my point of view, of course, it's more useful to see individuals as human beings with different strengths, experiences, and different development paths. We're not all on the same trajectory path, right? We are in a very different state of personal evolution. So different roles require different competences, skills, and even ways of thinking. So the focus, I would invite us to recognize more in finding the best fit between a person and a role or a person and a challenge, and on creating systems that allow talent to emerge and be recognized fairly, regardless of gender.
Okay.
There are many men that have female energies, afraid to manifest them because cultural frameworks would just not approve that. And even women, you hear many times saying, women, oh no, he's too soft. Oh, for Christ's sake, how can you say that? While at the same time, we are seeking more empathy. We're seeking more inclusion, more space holding, and things like that. So, in that sense, the goal is not really separate. How should I say? Not female male lens, not have female male lenses, but really more conscious and unbiased evaluation of human capability and capacity in all our diversity. So what do you think about that? I mean, can we start looking at men and women as human being first? And then?
Yes, of course. Totally agree with you, Dr. Violeta. That is a great answer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But what others? How do you feel?
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't been really reflecting on. I'm here. I feel like I'm having here my own individual sort of confession, and you are my priest. So, how do you feel about my statements? You don't need to agree with me. I mean, I would love to hear your comments back. I mean, what are your experiences? Not only on this last question, but in overall. Mar, maybe I'm taking over your moderation role. I'm sorry.
No, please do it. That's the idea. Carmen, please.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Mar, and thank you, Her Excellency Dr. Violeta Bulc, to be here with us today. And my question is a little bit related to the question of Ava Grace before. Can you tell us about the key challenges you meet or face during your different occupations, okay? During your professional life, if I can say so, and why there were challenges, and can you say that some of them are linked with the fact you are, or maybe you were at that time, a woman or not?
Question. Okay, heavy question, really heavy, because I'm going to contradict myself. Okay. And I don't want to, but I have to. I can feel here a disturbance in me. I've been stopped many times because I was a woman. And the way how I personally reacted to those moments was that I found my own detour. I never wanted to fight because I somehow found it pointless. If somebody doesn't understand. I'm not going to be there now to try to change them. I never wanted to change people. But somehow I always found the detours, and I was already passing and, moving forward, whatever that meant. But let me be more concrete. When I graduated, I was one of few rare women who finished that university and that major. And with few of our colleagues, we started also working and and trying to make some money during the studies already. But what I'm trying to say, that at that time, I never felt challenged by being a woman. It also makes a difference how one is judged in the community. I was a very successful professional sport person. I played professionally basketball as well. And I had a long career in different sport activities. So people knew me more by that than by anything else. So when I came into the room, I came as a winner because that's my life was. I was a winner. I won most of the competitions that I entered. I lost some, but they were very useful lessons. But being in skiing or in athletics and then even basketball. So I guess through that, not only sport gave me that confidence, my family gave me the confidence too, because we didn't have authoritarian parents. We had to justify our actions, which had to justify our views, but we were never shut down. You know what I mean? You with me? So that confidence was also from that point of view. And then I moved to California. I studied in San Francisco and then worked in Silicon Valley. there, in spite of being an extremely progressive society compared to the rest of US, I learned soon that it's prejudice. But again, I was lucky. I was white, I was young, I was well-educated, and I was very outspoken. So I somehow felt I pushed my way through. So from the outside observer, one would say, you know, you were doing great. I couldn't imagine having a family, and that all of a sudden this female aspect started to come in because there was nothing provided really in that society for us. So I moved back. I came to Slovenia. We have 12 months of paid maternity leave. We have free kindergartens or really minimum pay. We have great public schools. So that was a very clear decision. And I did it as a mother, as a woman. Yeah. But the fact that I was well educated, I worked and lived in California, in Silicon Valley, it was not a plus for me when I came home. And I started hitting, no matter what I did in a small society, I was hitting the glass ceiling all the time, not knowing, because all I wanted to do is progress, good projects, let's go, you know. But there was a glass ceiling, and I became aware. So that is probably the first time I started thinking about female issues and looking at my colleagues who didn't have this self-confidence, didn't have this, you know, winner's attitude. They were in much worse position than I was. And yes, I mean, it wouldn't be unfair to say I became a director at Telecom Slovenia in a very short period of time, it's 2.5 years, but nobody wanted me in Telecom Slovenia with all my experiences and everything. So I became a translator because I knew what I want. I want to work for Telecom because I had the knowledge. I was the first global TCP/IP-based corporate network analyst, performance analyst. I set up the first performance analytical tools for global corporation, which at that time, DHL Systems was the first one who entered and who decided to go with this modern TCP/IP-based technology. Anyway, I came home, nobody cared about that. But I became a translator for 3 months until I found a way again. I bypassed all the manhood rules and hierarchies because there were only men directors at the top. I became first the head of international unit, and then I built very quietly a team of 25 people, and in 2 years' time we took over 35% of all the revenue of Telecom Slovenia, and the rest of 3,400 and something people got the rest of 65, and became the hottest hub for transit traffic in Balkan. We took away the business from Deutsche Telekom, from AT&T, and was just the most desired network. The reason hub. The reason I'm saying that, you would say, "Wow, what a great result!" No, thank you very much for clapping. No, it didn't. It didn't help. I got killed, not physically, but just to the point that I decided to go on our own. I said, I'm too young to compromise with this narrow-minded men that were leading the company. So I made my own company, Vibacom at that time. And I did get good customers. I searched for them, but I was called to people who wanted me, besides the CEOs and the presidents who wanted me besides them. Yeah, it was sort of a trophy in one sense, but also they would allow me to work with them, with their people, most of them, work with their people. And for me, that was enough. So, and to prove that through this, the way how I understood by then collective participation and the way how engaging people and bringing together with the customer segments and working on relationship with them and just trying to make customers successful with that kind of philosophy, I help them to gain the confidence to really grow and develop their markets without working with the competition models. So that was for me a big success. But nobody would ever offer me any top position anymore. And when I talk like with some that I was also friend with from this circles of powers, they said, you know what, Violeta, nobody can control you. Nobody can control you. And they don't want you at the top because they cannot control you. You are unpredictable. You go too fast. You see an opportunity and off you go. You don't consult anybody. You just grab people and lead, you know. I said, well, you know, that's the biggest compliment I've ever received. But that was the glass ceiling. That was my limit. And then politics happened to me. Seriously, ladies, politics happened to me. I know life knew better, but I was so fed up with the government, the way how it was even led by a woman, our first prime minister. But it was corrupt. It was, they misused my taxes that I was paying faithfully as an entrepreneur. And I was invited to join a group who wanted to create a shadow government and start, you know, just constructively criticizing the decisions and showing another way forward. It just happened that the government stepped down. Later on, we realized that that had to happen because our prime minister wanted to become a commissioner and she wanted to go to Brussels, so she made sure that the government failed. And by then, our group was strong enough that the boys, I was one of rare women, the boys decided to create a party. To make the whole story short, I didn't want to join at the first. I said, no, politics is not for me. But then at the end, I invested already almost a year of my work into it. I said, okay, I'm going to join you. We won 36% of the votes, the largest. We have multi-party system, so the largest number of votes in the history of the country. And none of us has ever been in politics. So imagine that, sitting in the office when we learned that we won and that we have to put the government together, and nobody has ever been in politics. And of course, just very quickly, where the female again came in, I was sitting with this group of men, and immediately when they realized we have to now create a party, they took over who's going to be the minister of what. And they, of course, they went after the most prestigious ministries. And at the end, there was one ministry that was left, cohesion and strategic projects, which they gave to me. I said, okay, but it's fine. I can do that. And then, meaning that, you know, not such an important ministry. Then in 2 weeks' time, we had to name deputy prime ministers. And every party in coalition had to give one candidate because we had a prime minister, and they were all men, all party representatives. So they had to have at least one woman, and I was the only one qualified. And trying to downplay my titles because life happened to me. So I became deputy prime minister. And 2 weeks later, the commissioner to be from Slovenia was rejected by European Parliament. You know, how life plays jokes, right? And Juncker at that time, president-to-be, said Slovenia is supposed to give, he put female quotas because otherwise commission would be only commissioners, right? That's the same in all countries. This job was always grabbed by men. So the president said, no, we're going to have 30% of female commissioners. And he decided which countries will give female commissioners. And Slovenia was one of them. And because our female candidate, former prime minister, was rejected, we had to give somebody who was either former prime minister, former deputy prime minister, because President Juncker wanted to have a political commission. And I was the only one qualified. I've been a deputy prime minister for 2 weeks. I was a woman, and I spoke one of the working languages. And then I looked at life and I said, Jesus, life, you really have ways of playing the game, right? So I ended up in Brussels. And I tell you, ladies, this was the best job I could ever imagine. This was the job that pulled together all my experiences. Everything I've ever done in my life, I could use. Almost like, that, what was the title of that movie, Indian movie about the millionaire, the poor millionaire. Everything I've ever learned was really useful. And I love the job. And I can say in confidence that my team delivered a really good job. But I wouldn't get it if life wouldn't play the tricks. So there is a lot we still have to do. And above all, what I've learned is that women have to start respecting women. We are weak in respecting ourselves. And that's what I saw even later on. I could go on and on and on the whole afternoon about these political stories that I went through. But women are really hard enemies sometimes. And they don't play always a fair game, especially if they had to fight their way through and they feel that they're entitled for something. To me, jobs happened. I didn't have that. I mean, I dare to believe that I created a lot of opportunities for women. I also started the Female in Transport, ensured funds, a lot of new projects for female in transport, promotional and tangible. Really pushed the corporations to start bringing, especially the like railways and aviation, to start bringing women on board to create conditions that women could join. And I can tell you stories that happened, why and how, but we brought these stories forward, like including the clean toilets and, and bathrooms and separate toilets and bathrooms, which they didn't have before. That's why no women would enter, I don't know, trucking business or driving trucks or working in ports. And we've achieved that. We did that. We created yearly events where we shared those stories. We signed contracts with unions. We pushed ministers to do the same in member states. We worked with professional associations of ship owners, with railway undertakings, and things like that. It can be done. It can be done if you truly are not after your own fame. You have to and I told everyone, look, I'm not going to be reelected. I know that because I just happen to be here. So let's make the best out of it. And let's just make all of you as successful as possible. So that was the energy that I dealt with. And when the end of the mandate, of course, nobody liked that in power. Those in power didn't like that. So I was never offered any other post or anything, neither at home nor in Brussels. That's how I then realized I need to create again a space within which I can continue to grow and I can continue to evolve the understanding of life. And that's how I started with Ecocivilisation. And now I hold space for people to come together, to share their ideas and help me to grow with them. That's it. So I always find a way that, yes, there is a glass ceiling. Currently, we live in the society with a very heavy glass ceiling. So count on that. And once we learn to respect each other, once we learn that not all women are good and not all women are bad, and not all men are good and not all men are bad, but we seek, the quality relationships, we build trust, we build confidence in each other. That's how the society slowly changes. Aho.
Yeah, I would like to take what you say about, because this is paramount for me, with this relationship among women, because this is something that we need to learn. And I think now all of you know how I was so keen, so enthusiastic. I sent some message, are you coming for the meeting with Violeta? Yes, and I prepared for like 2 months this meeting, because we are learning from her so much. And this is something that I would like to hear from you one by one. What do you think about that? My experience, I will tell you, is really, and I feel embarrassed when you are in an enthusiastic meeting with other women. We are women, we are sisters, and I say, and I think, but that's the reality, because that's not mine. I have found horrible women, and I sometimes I move forward despite all that wave of negativity. So please, I would like to go one by one to see your opinions, because I think we could learn from that, because you could open, Violeta, the opportunities for networking, for gathering, but if the relationship among them, it doesn't work, it's terrible, because you give the space to distraction, no? So that's why it's so important to keep that go. So let's start from our Grace, Carmen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sis Sama. Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, we are here to uplift each other here. That's very important. And then we must, when we uplift, we empower everyone in the world, then the miracle will happen. That is wonderful. That's my sharing. Thank you.
But your experience is with other women. Have wrong dots on that, black dots, or it's always have been positive? Your experience with
Positive.
other women.
With other women, yeah, the emotional is very important in our group community here. That's why we have motivational courses for them. We have unit and we encourage them. For those besides they do business and they have kids at home, all this emotional support we must give to empower all those women. That is totally very important. Thank you.
Thank you, Carmen. Yeah.
Okay. From my experience, I can say that relations with people are the same. Why I say that? Because men and women are people. When you interact with a woman and you say to yourself, okay, I'm going to this woman because she is a woman, there are some women that don't like this kind of thoughts. It means, professionally speaking, okay, you have a manager, even if she is a woman, go to her because she is a manager. And you will have some of them with whom you will face a lot of problems. And maybe you have just maybe to think about maybe twice before engaging with her, or maybe talking or asking something. I also noticed that between women, there are a lot of maybe competition, and I don't know why. Because everyone is particular. Everyone has maybe his or her maybe positive action, her success. Nobody is the same, even twins. Nobody is the same, and you can't compete with another woman or someone else. But between women, it is different between men. Men can be in competition, but in some point, there are more, I don't say emotional, but they are pragmatic. Yes, between men. When a man say, for example, here's my brother, it doesn't mean that they don't have problems, but they focus on what is important, and that's it. And I think women have to do the same. This is my point of view.
And you say it, and you are like with certain fear, when you say, because you're, we don't talk openly about this. This is not an open debate of what we do wrong among women. So that thank you for bringing that. Camilla, you came from a political environment, no? So you are much aligned with Violeta about what is competition, what is it's always sisters, a lovely relationship, or we have much more to describe on that?
No, always exist competition, but not necessary sometimes to the human level. Sometimes the competition is because your doctrine, your ideology, or your party is requiring you to do that. And sometimes for sure it's not easy when you are in a political structure. Even maybe personally you like the other person, but you cannot tell it publicly, because publicly maybe you are rivals. So you need, like you said, politically correct, to be politically correct, and not I don't know how to say, not prize maybe that person as a human being. Sometimes, like Violeta said, in politics, you became like to not be human, right? To say like that, you are just a pion, like in a chess table, and you need to do what your queen is telling you, or even what the voters are expecting from you, because if you want to win votes, maybe, and you have a doctrine or ideology you need to keep, sometimes it's very difficult to make everybody happy in that context. Is very difficult. And I know in general, for example, we had one situation in 2024 when we was having the last presidential election. Was a candidate which won the first round, but nobody was expecting, because he was independent. And because he was independent, he could speak from his heart and to speak true. And for that, he arrived to many people's hearts, and they vote him without knowing him. But for the rest of political class, was a big surprise. And it's like they did whatever was in their hands to make that person to lose the second, even if maybe they didn't really do it with honesty. And was a big scandal, and maybe many of you hear about that. And they consider that the election was fraud dictated. and was not correct. But I just want to mention that sometimes it's very difficult when you are in politics to say exactly what you think, how you are aligned, exactly like Violeta said, to speak from your heart, to speak from your truth, because if not, you will not be politically correct, and then you will be penalized when the voters came to vote for you. And that it's a pity in reality that we cannot be ourselves, and we cannot do the best for the people. And many times, at least in my country, we maybe many of you, you know, that is considered like for corruption, red country, so it's very corrupt. And like some countries from Africa, I know I saw one maps a few years ago, and Romania was the reddest from Europe, let's say like that. And even our political party now took some human problems from the people in Romania and said, but why the things was done like this? And the only answer we have is that the things was done like this. And Violeta, if you allow me to tell you, Violeta, then they was done and more, because you was in charge of transportation. We speak about a problem in transportation in Romania. They was done like this exactly to make people to get funds from European Union, to get these funds, to say that they did something, but they did it so bad only to make money to go to their pocket. And we realized that, and for example, my party, we would like to improve that part, because it's a real security danger in transportation for Romanian citizens. But we are still very small. And if you allowed me, Violeta, I would like you to contact you after privately, and to speak and to tell me your strategy with a small party, how you arrived to 36%, because that is great, really. And I would love to know your insights and how this was done. And if you allow me to, as I said before, that we were speaking in a meeting in my party that we need to do an event face-to-face with all the members. And one colleague was saying, better let's choose this date because the phases of the moon. And with this occasion, if Mar as well, you allow me, I would like to invite Violeta to this event if she is free that day. And will be a pleasure and an honor for us to have you there. And we can speak after details and see exactly if you can come, and for sure maybe other people from this platform can join us to at least Mar, because it's easy, because it's in Europe, and Slovenia, it's very close to Romania. And yeah. Thank you very much, ladies, and hope we will have this kind of get-together more for the future.
Belinda, relations among women.
Yes, thank you so much, Mar. Yes, I would love to share my experience. Back when I was in campus, I faced something tragic. We call it groupies here. I was in a group of friends who are girls, and then at some point I got betrayed. And I think this affected my relationship with women for a very long time. Anytime I would get like close to a woman, I think the trauma, I would be triggered back to that trauma, remembering how I was betrayed. And it made me to lose out on so many opportunities because I would always be 50-50 when it comes to relating very closely to a woman. But I want to say that this platform has really helped me to heal because we keep on meeting. I've been able to bring women together. I've been able to, meet with different kind of women for the past 3 years. And for real, if I had known this earlier, that what happened between me and that group of girls back in campus will not always be the same scenario later in life, I would have embraced my relationship with women and I would have regarded it seriously. So that has been my experience, but I thank God that I came to this group, this global network, that is G100 Global Networking, that has enabled me to heal. Because for me, to keep on close relationships with a group of different women from all over the world, that has enabled me to heal. That is my story concerning my relationship with women. I don't know whether I should go ahead and ask my question or there's someone else.
That's beautiful, Belinda. You see, Violeta, no? This is wonderful, no? It's the best compliment that you could say, that you heal being in our network, that you trust. And I know that it was difficult, no? Because women move. There are many women that move in euphoria, no? So, and the euphoria never leaves you with a good outcome. No? Sometimes the balance is what the steady, a consistent attitude, a good attitude, and delivering is what builds trust. And we did it, and with Carmen as well. We are building a relationship that is built, that is about trust, isn't it, Carmen?
Yeah, and I was in politics when I was in campus, and I think that also made me to fear politics because of that betrayal. But now that I am healing, I don't know what's next. Who knows? I might just be the president of Kenya.
We are going to support you. I don't know if Andre would like to have a say, or we are at the very, 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 very end of this meeting. I don't want to take more of your time, Violeta. It's like nearly 2 hours. That for me was like half an hour.
It feels like 5 minutes. So please.
For me.
Okay.
Yes. And Andre, okay.
See, so I think it's very cultural in all the world discussion. We have many competition. It's not so easy. And we have many women living until now with invisibility. And I think we need to bring more visibility to who people are with the spirit of collaboration. It's a matter of balance. Violeta say this word balance, and I think we have many challenges, but we also always choose where we want to be and what we want to do and with whom we want to have connection. And I think it's very important to construct supports, network supports for all the women. Because we have many, many challenges, and we are women. So we born women, so we need to have support. And it's a choice to continue. It's only our choice to continue what I can do, where, with. I think it's our essence.
Violeta, networks for women.
Yes.
What we could do when there is a trend on transhumanism, when there is a trend on saying, because in a big summit saying that networks are dead, it have a whole political agenda behind that. This is not just. Of course. So how we could do it? So how we could make it? And you leave us very dangerous lessons, no? Like a winner on basket. So we grab the ball, we run until we score, no? So We have now a question from Smita that is we chair for India, our dearest chair for India. We are running out of time, and I would like to, as she had problems in in New Delhi, there is problems with the connectivity. So I would like just to read, just to respect her.
Please.
She had been there, so at least it could be record her question for you, that she was very enthusiastic on that. That is, humanity continues to conquer nature instead of learning to live in harmony with it. What kind of future do you think we are creating? And what is the one change we must make today to build a true eco-civilization for our generation? This is a perfect question for you, I think. Yes, this is your question.
Okay, I'm gonna be very frank. The world we live right now, somebody imagined and delivered on it. And if you look in the history, the world has changed so much. So, my dear friends, my dear sisters, my dear human beings, we gotta imagine first before we can deliver. We gotta imagine the world we want to live and then start walking. And once millions and billions of people keep walking and delivering on that, right now, the only thing we hear about a possible future in the pushed media is really high-tech world of transhumanism and AI and robots, and everything will be done by that. This is just a very narrow corporate agenda of few. So what is our narrative? I stand up by eco-civilization narrative, ecological civilization. That's why I'm more and more time I spend here in the mountains, surrounded by forest and with farmers who actually still understand nature, who feel with the nature. I'm learning from them and then contemplating and trying to understand how can we bring this then back and connect to this high pressure city life, industrial lifestyle. It's here. I don't have better recipe. I've changed myself to the point, and I'm on this journey. Are you? Are you imagining the future and then deliver on it in spite of rejections, in spite of isolation? But the fact is, and I really very would like to compliment these female networks, because we talk things that have no space yet in public space, or very limited space. And we got to claim this space. It's building up, Harbin had a vision. She brought us together. She opened up the space. Mara and I cooperate so well, on different levels, building our own networks, but cross-pollinating constantly and calibrating our views and sharing them. And then next step, we have a better picture of what are the elements of our imagination. I think it has to start there. And let's continue talking, and let's continue sharing what is the world that we want to live in. I mean, maybe that's a great topic for the next discussion. Carmen, Belinda, and the rest. What's the world that you would really love to build? And let's build it. Let's just do it. It's that simple. Seriously, when I wanted to have a little cabin in the mountain, I built it from scratch. I was here with workers. We were doing things. And yes, in a year time, it was here. And now I enjoy it. That was, I imagined it first and then I delivered. It's the same with social transformations. It's the same with societal and civilizational changes. Somebody imagined and then walked the path. So for ecological civilization, we just have to continue with whatever we do. We ask ourselves, what is the impact on the society and look on nature, and look for people who share that and try to minimize it. It will not be perfect today. It might not be perfect tomorrow, but as long as we are committed to continuously search for solutions who are better and better and better, in 20, 30 years time, we will build this world. We will build this world. We cannot hear you, darling.
I'm sorry. Now?
Yes.
Now?
Yes.
Here, heavy rain there. All of a sudden, the power went off. Again, I just connected with my other power bank. Kindly excuse me. And
No,
shall I
Smita, as I didn't know if you were coming back, Violeta is just answering your question. So if you would like to make some comments, this is the time. Please go ahead. We are on the last minutes of this meeting. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. And you were talking about spirituality, because spirituality is a part of life. I understand. But now the Gen Z, our younger generation, like they're supposed to live a harmonious life. But if a humanity, continues to conquer the nature instead of learning to live harmony, what kind of future do we create, or what kind of a future do we build for the younger generation? This is what my question, a small question, all about. And adding to that, what is the one challenge and one change we must make it today, to build a true nation for the younger generation? This is what my question all about.
This is another half an hour, but
Yes,
I will try to be very short.
Right.
Whatever you are referring to as a challenge, animals, trees, rivers don't do that. It's people. Okay, let's just really ground that message. It's people. We are causing that to ourselves, nobody else. Nature is there, just stoically observing our behavior, and who knows what they think. So right now, and I will just repeat, it's really important, the world that you're imagining, and are you committing yourself to the path that leads to the world that you imagine and you want to live? Leave the youth alone. The youth, I don't worry about the youth. Youth has figured it out. What about us? I mean, are we walking the path that we want to live? I mean, I'm asking you, dear friends. I'm trying hard. I'm trying to imagine. I'm trying to walk that path. It's not easy, but I feel at least good about myself that I'm trying. I'm not giving up. And it's very interesting, the things that are happening on this path. Do it. Just do it. Imagine the world you want to live, and then commit yourself that with every step you will try to be a little bit closer to that. You don't need to be perfect. That's another problem, that everybody thinks women need to be perfect. No, we don't need to be perfect. We just got to be committed, and walk the path. Let's see in a year time where we're going to get. And it's great if you connect along this path with either women or men who you happen to sense that they share your vision of the future, and maybe take different paths, but you can learn from each other and realize probably that this future is put together from many different little bits and pieces, and we all need to act in order to get there. So No big stories, no big plans, no one solution. There is no one solution. There is no one step. It's zillion small steps. And let's just do it. Agree with yourself. You don't even need to put it on a big bulletin board or in your memoirs. Just do it here and try your best. And then look for all kinds of different possibilities that will help you to get closer to what you believe is the right thing to do and what you feel is the right thing to do. Ecocivilization has two rules. Do what it feels right and 100% transparency. That's it. That's it. And we bring together people who care. Miracles are happening, right, Mar? I mean,
Yes.
the books that we managed to put out in 3-4 months or 6 months are amazing. But just because in these projects are people who care. And everything comes together without any pressure, without any, any control or, deadlines. No, we just agreed and we trust each other. And they're women only, actually. They've been in the last 2 projects. We just trust each other that we will deliver, and that's it. And we do, because we care. Try it. Try it. It's not that hard, actually. It's easier than you think.
We take the challenge, Violeta, changing the narrative by imagining, creating, thinking on ourselves and the society, and moving forward. This is not politically correct. This is not politically correct. You have to follow the agenda. You have to follow what is the official message. So you are sending another dangerous message. You continue. You don't stop. Belinda, please, very quick.
Thank you so much, Her Excellency Violeta Bulc, for sharing whatever you have shared with us. It's quite phenomenal. Thank you also for sharing that you have stored this information in books that you have released, and they have really supported other people all over the planet. I wonder if there are any systems around or that you have put in place that capture, structure, and preserve the wisdom and intelligence behind eco-civilization for the sake of re-engineering the future. That's my last question.
Okay, do we have time, Mark, to answer? I mean, I don't mind, but I don't know about you, because I don't want to be just...
We don't, but move ahead. Let's move on.
Okay, let me try to be brief, but it's a very deep and broad question. It's not just saying, okay, these are the projects, follow them up. I understand this question more about how civilization itself learns. At present, I see no single integrated system capable of capturing or structuring or preserving and activating all these wisdoms and intelligence of eco-civilization for the purpose of engineering the future. But there are so many great indications that something is bubbling. There is an emergence happening. And the emerging intelligence of eco-civilization really already exists in distributed ecosystems that are partially connected, and each of them has a different dimension of human or planetary knowledge. And let me just say it one more time. You could check on our Ecocivilization webpage, and all the books are free, so you can go into our library and just pull them down. And the partner networks that exist. G100 is definitely one, and everything built, those 5 fingers around that G100 is part of. Very powerful networks. Then you have a lot of networks that are trying to bring forward a more cohesion into communities, like Living Cities Earth research ecosystems, like different eco-villages networks that exist all around the world. Then you have 3 very interesting economical models emerging and proving that they are not only sustainable, but they also offer elements of resilience, which I think we all will need in the next few decades, which is one is circular economy, a regenerative economy, an economy of limited resources. They, unfortunately, again, with this old control type of mindset, they compete with each other instead of coming together and understanding that they're so complementary to each other and they have some common elements which they could jointly evolve further. So Ecocivilisation, we just brought them in and we constantly talk about all three of them as complementary elements of one emerging global, promising global economical model that also includes SDGs, but in a bit more profound way that talks about planetary boundaries and invites people to think from boundaries inwards, right? So these would be some great indications. Like in May, a colleague of mine, Jeremy Lent, published a book called Ecocivilisation. It's a great research book that has done, he has invested a lot of his time and energy into finding the patterns throughout the last couple of hundreds of years, especially focusing on Western civilization development and seeing how destructive and how what are the destructive elements we integrated in our society, which will bring this Western civilization down, or we, as in Ecocivilisation movement, we are inviting us to rethink, to reimagine. Oh, thank you, Mark. And to really reinvent ourselves, right, together with other continental thinking, which it's great what is happening in Africa. I mean, Belinda, Africa is waking up. I'm so proud of all of you. And women are leading the way. Women are the ones who are leading the way. Of course, you have still dictators and you have these corrupted different networks that lift off Western briberies to satisfy the global corporations and imperialistic models. But this is dying. And that's why we see so much aggression right now, you know. It's great. Unfortunately, Latin America was waking up, but got crushed badly in many aspects. But I hope Africa learns and, you know, overcomes those weaknesses and keep walking this path of reinvention and awakening. Europe will have to find its own foundation, a new foundation, and I hope we will find it in strengthening back the green agenda, but not only in the functions. In order to deliver this future of eco-civilization, we need to reimagine also the structures, right? You cannot squeeze modern ideas and dreams into old structures. The structures have their own behavior. They kill new elements because they don't want change. They have the same characteristics as human beings. They fight for their own existence. So we proposed, thank you, Mar. This is lovely. Yeah, these are the books that we published lately. And we propose, just for the sake of challenging your mind and our minds, we say, imagine that a country or a community or even corporation has 4 basic organizational structures: beings, communities, land, and consciousness, or all the knowledge and wisdom, if you want. And then the relationships as a dynamic processes who actually develop these 4 structures. What does it mean in reality? If you have an education model, you have to ask yourselves, how is this education model impacting the land, communities, and how is it improving our beings, and how is it improving our collective wisdom and knowledge? And then, for example, economical models. We got to ask ourselves, how then, whichever economical model we introduce, how is it affecting the life of beings, but not only humans, also animals, plants? How is it affecting the development of communities and everything that the community stand for? How is it affecting the development of our collective knowledge and wisdom? And how is it affecting the development of spaces in which we live? So this is a completely different point of view. Can we do that? It's hard. Everybody would say, oh, it's impossible. Of course it is hard. But the way these functional structures did not exist 500 years ago. Somebody imagined them and delivered them to serve the industrial and imperialistic mindset. We're beyond that. So that would be the steps. These are the elements that are out there. Look for them. I mean, there are amazing networks out there, depending on your interest. I believe that the movements and networks are those that will shape the future of this humanity and the future of the world. But it's a nature of systems that they want points of stability. So we will have to imagine structures as well within which we will be able to stabilize, get the grounds to be able to imagine again, right? So, and that's the beauty of life. That's why life is so good. So it's such a privilege to be and to get this chance to even imagine and do little steps. I mean, that's the beauty, isn't it? That's the magic. That's the, oof, I'm so grateful to be born in this time. I wouldn't want to live in any other.
It's us also that feel that magic with you, Violeta, and I'm sure share this feeling with the rest of the participants. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your lessons. This was meant to be an interview, asking questions. and now you leave us with more questions and with the will to look at to navigate, which I invite all of you to visit the website of Ecocivilisation, to look up the books, especially Leadership Challenge that we are there, and the event calendar. We need to continue this. This is what we could show. We expose that we need to debate more. So I have identified like 5 issues to debate. So, and there are much more. So yeah. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for this intimate conversation that you give us with the whole generosity. So and the rest of you, thank you for being part of this energy, and contributing with magic. Please unfold your micros. We are ending now.
Hey,
Thank you
so
very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Gratitude. Thank you.
One thing I
Let
would like
me know, Mar, what things you and your network will imagine, and let's come together and see how we can calibrate that and have a shared imagination of the world.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you a lot.